Hi there, it's Ryan G. Wright with DoHardMoney.com, and today I'm coming to you with a Just Ask Ryan question of the day. And today's question is how to invest in real estate with very little experience. It's a fantastic question that a lot of people have, and I'm going to break it down for you. But before that, if you have a question you'd like me to answer on real estate finance, real estate investing, wholesaling, BRRRR, fix and flip, whatever the case is, just type it in the comments below. If you type that question in the comments below, it could become one of the Just Ask Ryan question of the day. So today's question, let's talk about this. How to invest in real estate with little experience. What I find in real estate investing is most people underestimate the amount of work it will take and overestimate how easy it will be. And so really, real estate investing is like anything. It takes a lot of hard work. And that hard work is going to come in learning some strategies, and that hard work is going to come in making some investments, and that hard work is going to come in putting in the time. One of the things that happens when you watch HGTV or any of these flipping shows that you see, which we love them, by the way, they're great entertainment, but one of the things you see is this warped sense of reality. And the warped sense of reality is it takes them like 30 seconds to find a property. Magically, the phone rings and they have a property. Well, it just doesn't work like that. The majority of your time is going to be spent on finding good deals. And that's where people usually get off track. And so you've got to learn some strategies. And there's a few strategies like being a bird dogger, which is you going out and finding a property and let somebody else then negotiate it and put it together and getting paid a nominal fee like $1,000. That's a great way to start. Or you could do what's called wholesaling, where you find a property, you get it under contract, and you sell it to an investor that's going to do a fix-up, or they're going to keep it as a rental property. So that's kind of a wholesaler. Then you've got the whole idea of fix and flipping, where you fix the property up and you resell it. And then you've got the whole idea of becoming a landlord, where you're buying a property, fixing it up, and renting it to get cash flow in that way. And eventually you may want to become a lender, where you're actually lending money to these other parties that are doing those things. That's kind of the life cycle of a real estate investor. The easiest place to get started is doing some bird dogging or doing some wholesaling, because you're only doing half of the equation. You don't have to deal with the fix-ups, you don't have to take on the risks, you don't have to get the loan, but it's lower profit margins. So a lot of people say, hey, I want to get into fix and flipping because I can make higher profit margins, fix the property up and resell the property. But irregardless of which strategy you're going to go, you're going to have to spend some time and get educated on how it actually works. You're going to have to figure out how this works and how it works so you can be successful at doing that. But also you have to come up with a strategy on finding properties. How are you going to go find properties? And so one of the things we really recommend is Investors Edge software. It takes the guesswork out of that, but you still have to put in the time. And there's multiple strategies, from vacant properties to out-of-state owners to non-owner occupieds, to actually find these properties. But you have to find properties that could be prospective deals. Then you have to do some marketing, advertising, or sales, where you've got to knock on the door, you've got to send out postcards, voice broadcast, calling them, sending text messaging. You've got to get in touch with them. And then you've got to convince them to sell you the property. And it's probably more than convincing. It's probably finding people that have a need. One of the things that new investors don't realize is if a property is in need of work, it can't be sold to somebody that's getting a loan from the bank. If you're getting a loan from Bank of America or Chase or Wells Fargo, whatever the case is, when they do their appraisal, they're going to check the property to make sure it's in habitable condition. Well, if the property needs a new roof, or if the kitchen's torn apart, or if there's a crack in the driveway, they're going to say, nope, you can't get a loan until those things are fixed. And a lot of sellers, if that's an expensive fix, aren't going to want to spend the money for that. Or if a property's just in disrepair, or grandma's old kitchen with green fridge and green appliances is in there, that's going to have a harder time selling on the open market. So those properties are typically only sold to cash buyers or people are getting hard money. So what happens then is, unless they can spend the money to fix the property to get in the condition where a traditional bank can do a loan on it, it's got to be sold to an investor. And that's where we can come into play and say, hey, let me help you with this. This is going to need $50,000 worth of work to get into the condition that a bank will lend on that. So you can either spend the money yourself, which most people don't have, or you can sell it to me. I will spend the money, I will take on the risk, and I'll then resell that property, or I'll rent that property. Early on in my career, I was worried about telling people that I was going to make a profit or I was going to do that. that's the wrong approach. Trying to convince somebody like, I'm not even going to make any money on this deal, is so disingenuous and so untrue, because the reality is you are going to make a profit, and you should say, hey, my goal is to get you a fair deal that'll work for you and get you what you need, and our goal is to make a profit in doing it. We're going to take on the risk, we're going to get the money, we're going to fix the property up, we're going to deal with contractors, and we're going to deal with the market conditions. The market could go down, the market could go up, who knows what will happen. I'm taking on all that risk and I'm helping you get to where you want to go. And probably the biggest thing with that is understanding the needs. What do you guys really need? What is your problem and how can I solve it? Because once I can solve that problem, I can hopefully make a deal that'll work. I was working on a deal where the guy wanted an RV because he was going to travel the country, but he needed the money because the right RV came up, but he had his equity in the property, so we worked out a deal. It ended up not closing, unfortunately, but we worked on this whole deal where we were going to give him the down payment for the RV in advance and lien the property. So there's some creative things that can be done. Now, all that comes with time. So if you're just getting started, I think one of the best things you can do is follow a system. Find somebody that you like, find somebody that you trust, and follow their system. Here's how you find properties, here's how you value properties, here's a way you can get money source, and actually follow that system. I think it can help with the learning curve. Or you can do the school of hard knocks and just try and learn as much as you can as you go along the way. So I think those are some big things that are really important as you're wanting to get started. Because you got to learn, you got to decide the strategy that you want to use, you got to execute on that strategy, you've got to find ways to find properties, you've got to talk to sellers and understand their needs, and then you've got to come to an agreement. Once you've done that, then you've got to deal with closing the property, getting contractor bids, getting the property fixed up if you're doing that. If you're wholesaling, you got to deal with finding cash buyers. And like I said, Investors Ed makes a lot of that quite a bit easier. So if you are new in real estate investing, you want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence on your comps, doing your due diligence on your rehab, doing your due diligence on your general contractors. That's just critically important regardless of what direction you're going, and have a good strategy for finding properties. And like I said at the beginning, don't just plan on HGTV handing you a property. You've got to put on a lot of time, and most people think it's not going to take a lot of time. The majority of your time is going to be spent finding that great deal, and then executing on it is not going to be as much. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of your time is going to be finding it, and 20% of your time is going to be making that deal to a reality. So I hope you've enjoyed this, how to invest in real estate with little experience. If you've got questions, got comments, or you'd like to have me do a video on another topic, please type it in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to do that. If you want some help, if you want to check out our software or other things or tools and resources, just head on over to dohardmoney.com. We've got multiple different softwares. We've got different ways of finding properties. We have all kinds of information for real estate investors that are getting started or scaling their real estate investing business. I've also got a couple of other videos I think you'd be interested in checking out. One of them is 25 things I wish I knew before I started in real estate. 25 things I wish I knew before I started in real estate. You're going to want to check it out. And also I've got another one, which is how to fix and flip loans work for beginners. So like we talked about with little experience, you're going to want to watch this video on how fix and flip loans work for beginners, because a lot of times I get asked, how am I going to get the money to do all this? Well, this is going to go over that for you, so you're going to want to check that out as well. Otherwise, make it a very profitable day, and goodbye for now.